Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and you're watching FBC News. The Fiji Revenue and Customs Authority isn't taking any chances against unscrupulous retailers who have quickly taken advantage of price increases announced in next year's budget. The authority has stopped 3 retailers who increased their cigarette prices by $1 immediately after the budget was delivered. Mika Longa with this report.
FBC is clamping down on a number of retailers in the Western Division following complaints they had already increased prices of items. And in fact, the new prices should come into effect from 1st January 2013.
In fact, there's 3. There was one that was reported to us on Friday. We're actually looking at another 2.
The retailers are accused of charging new prices on current stock, reflecting the increased duty rate in the 2013 budget.
We have received complaints from the West. A certain individual that certain retailers are charging excessive retail price of cigarettes. Realistically, you should just talk about 10 to 15 cents increase on a particular packet.
While FBC investigators are on the backs of the suspected retailers, the authority is also keeping a watchful eye on other businesses who won't reduce prices despite a reduction in import duty.
The intention really is to make sure that the consumers realize they actually benefit from the reduction in prices. If that is not happening, then it defeats the whole purpose of reducing those duty.
The question is, how can the relevant authorities put an end to this unscrupulous behavior of such retailers? This isn't the first time and probably won't be the last. Are current efforts enough? Well, that's for authorities to answer. Mika Longa, FBC News.
Air Pacific is facing major flight disruptions after its 747 jumbo aircraft developed mechanical problems in Sydney on Sunday. As a result, some Sydney and Los Angeles flights were delayed, affecting hundreds of passengers. Christopher Chand reports.
Passengers affected by flight cancellations on Sunday will be arriving later tonight on an additional flight by Air Pacific. 2 days later, over 300 passengers were affected following the grounding of its 747 jumbo jet on Sunday. Engineers are still trying to fix the problem in Sydney. In a statement, Air Pacific says they are still working on returning the aircraft to service, and due to this, they will be delaying their Los Angeles flight by 8 hours. The national carrier sent one of its 2 jumbo jets for maintenance check to Singapore earlier this month, and for the time being, it has leased this Euro-Atlantic aircraft. This aircraft was sent to Sydney this afternoon after a few hours delay as a supplementary flight to cater for passengers who were affected on Sunday. Passengers have been frustrated with flight delays over the last few days. Air Pacific has not indicated when the 747 will be ready and when its flights will normalize. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
The Water Authority of Fiji will be working on a tight budget come 2013. It's only been allocated $110 million for next year and will not be recruiting new employees. As Mika Longa reports, the authority will also not be needing foreign contractors next year.
$8 million short of its initial $118 million request for next year's budget, the Water Authority of Fiji is determined to do all it can within its means for water and sewerage. Its targets for next year are to get as many people connected to its new sewerage reticulation, increase the capacity of treatment plants to take extra load of increasing population and development, get sewer and wastewater treated before disposal, reduce water loss, regulate water pressure, and reduce intermittent water supply.
We started, I think, close to 40, a number of areas around Fiji that suffered from intermittent supply. We progressively reduced this now to the low 30s. So there's still a long way to go. The infrastructure is already there. Basically getting the water to them is a struggle at the moment because of the demand and because the zoning perhaps were not done well in the past.
The Water Authority has invested heavily in modernizing its monitoring systems. However, it has no plans to expand its workforce.
No, we actually have reduced our workforce from last year, and we like to see that progressively reduced. When we modernize our system, when we put in place information systems and systems or smart systems that help us do work efficiently, there may be areas where we'll need to cut down our human resources.
The WAF CEO is also looking at cutting back on hiring foreign contractors to carry out its infrastructure developments next year.
We want to reduce that progressively, but there's some good companies locally that have done work for us in the past.
Mika Longa, FBC News.
Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama has been briefed on the plight of Fiji nationals serving in the British Army. Bainimarama met with Veterans Aid CEO Dr. Hugh Milroy and Fiji's High Commissioner to the UK Solomara in London yesterday. Eleanor Tharangaivu has the details.
The meeting comes as the Prime Minister is in London for the International Sugar Organization seminar.
What was interesting, he had very much had a clear grasp of the problems facing the Fijian soldiers and their families in this country, and was obviously very, very concerned about what was going on. He was very pleased to learn of the progress we had made.
Dr. Milroy says he is glad the Prime Minister wants to be in the loop on developments taking place with regards to the plight of Fijians in the British Army.
He was briefed by myself and Mr. Solomara, the High Commissioner, and he asked to be kept informed of the next steps and any problems that were developing.
Last week, the UK Home Office stated it has reviewed the rule that barred foreign and Commonwealth soldiers from settling in the UK if they have even a small disciplinary conviction in the military. Though this announcement brings a sigh of relief to many Fijians, there are some who are still facing problems.
Over the weekend, we had two serving soldiers get in touch with us. They've got some problems in service, and we can't really do much for those who are currently serving. But what's interesting is I think they need to make sure that the British Forces administration systems really do get a grip of the situation.
Meanwhile, Isimeli Mbalewa is counting his lucky stars. He gets to stay with his wife and two daughters in the UK after the military court threw out the minor disciplinary conviction against him that stopped him from settling in the UK. Eleanor Tharangaivu, FBC News.
Fiji is confident the Generalized System of Preferences Subcommittee at the U.S. Trade Representative Office will make a decision in our favor. The U.S. has removed Fiji from the scheme that provides duty-free entry for many of our export in the U.S. market. The step was taken after local trade unions filed a petition against Fiji. Fiji has presented its case to the GSP subcommittee and is awaiting a reply.
They will let us know what further opportunities for dialogue, meeting or further submissions there will be. But this is a long process.